Sure. So I'm Tankski. I've been part of WASD.
No introduction, just who you are.
I'm Tankski.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Coach.
And the
I'm
announcer
Jay.
is...
I'm behind the mic and I run the stream and you can't see me.
He's somewhere over there.
Yeah. I need a like a face cut out of Jay.
No.
Just to
Stage
whack him
left.
in.
Backstage left.
Right. Shall we have a countdown to WASD?
I mean,
Sure.
It's 10 o'clock.
It is 10 o'clock.
Okay.
WASD has started.
I'm going to start a
started.
countdown. An arbitrary number.
That's number one.
5,
4, 3,
2,
1. WASD started, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
We started,
10:01, which is when WASD
Very
starts.
nice.
We're
That's a
very on time.
palindromic number.
Exactly.
Right, now it's time to explain.
Okay,
what WASD is.
so welcome to WASD 2020. So if you're wondering what WASD is, WASD stands for Warwick's Awesome Speedruns and Demos. It's a student-run speedrunning event for charity, namely Special Effect, and we've been running for
It's
our
our
fifth year, yeah. So it's been going on for a while now, actually. We are students of the University of Warwick from both the Computing Society and Warwick Esports. Warwick Esports obviously being the Twitch channel that we're currently using.
We'll be running today all day and tomorrow all day, so for about 12 hours today and then for about, I think, 9 or 10 hours tomorrow.
So it's what, 10 till 11?
10 till 10 or 11 tonight and 10 till 7 or 8 tomorrow.
Yeah.
British time, if you're watching from overseas, adjust accordingly.
Yes.
That's GMT.
GMC.
But yeah, we don't really have much else to say beyond, obviously, if you're going to hang about, donate. We have a donation link below the stream. It's
was.warwick.gg/donate, and I think it's on the stream overlay.
Yeah,
Yep, and
it's-
there's a button underneath. You can
that's
click the special effect logo underneath the stream to donate.
Ah, yeah.
Yep. Beyond that, obviously, to say again, the donations go towards Special Effect, a charity that helps people with disabilities play games. They've created technologies such as a technology that allows people to play Minecraft with their eyes alone, which is very impressive
It's
stuff.
widely available as well, which is even more impressive.
And they'll obviously help people and create bespoke solutions for them, which is something that's very impressive. Throughout the event, we'll be playing videos of some of the cases that they've come across and for people that they've helped.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think we want to get on with everything, but
Yeah.
whilst we leave and let Sekiro from Murtag, who's our first run, who's sat in the back, we want to thank our sponsors. So for this event, we have Belong Gaming Arenas, who have provided us with a bunch of the monitors, consoles, and PCs for runners to practice on, as well as for people to rock up and play.
Peripherals as well.
Peripherals
So
too.
if anyone's watching from Warwick, over here, you guys can come get involved, or if you're nearby, come down, you can meet the runners and also play some games. They're all waving at you in the background as well.
Yep. We
should know
have...
where it is. We're in the SU atrium.
Yeah, so big shout out to Belong for doing that. We have Overclockers UK, who have provided us with a bunch of raffle prizes. With the donations, you have the opportunity to put your donations towards raffle prizes. We have a few prizes from them, including some mouse mats, some mugs. They are pretty nice mugs, actually. We have Endgame Gear, quick segue, who are providing a mouse for the raffle. We have Colink, who are providing a computer case for the raffle, namely the Big Chungus, which is a fantastic name.
Yeah.
We have, for our seating sponsor, we have Noble Chairs, who I'm not on screen, but the chairs that you can see us sitting in and the runners and couch will be sitting in throughout the entire event, they have been provided kindly by Noble Chairs. We have a sponsorship from NSE, National Student Esports. NSE are one of the 2 student leagues in the UK, but they're on the forefront of university representation. And they've helped a lot with just organising a lot of this and getting us support where we needed it. So we'd like to thank them as well. And finally, we'd like to thank Monster, who are the beverage sponsor for the event. We have, if Jack could just move slightly, there's a fridge with a Monster in it in the back.
There we go.
Obviously, if you're in Warwick and you want to come down, we also have some free Monster for people to come and sample.
We have a lot of it.
We have a lot.
So come
So
on.
feel free to come on down and spectate, grab a can, and help yourself to it.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think we'll get going. Will be a few moments just to make sure that everything's all set up and Murtag's ready. But we're good, and we'll be in chat. We'll see what you're saying, and we hope you enjoy the event.
Yep.
So, Murtag, you want to introduce yourself to the
We
stream?
live?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
live.
okay. So I'm Murtag, and I'm going to be speedrunning Sekiro right here. First thing I'm going to do is change the language to French. Not because it saves time, just because I've got some cool French speedrunning friends, and I just wanted to give them a bit of a shout out. And then we'll just get straight into the run. So are you ready on time to start the time? Okay, just waiting on Jay to sort it out. So this is obviously Sekiro, spiritual successor to Dark Souls. It's basically Japanese samurai Dark Souls. We can only use a katana.
Okay, we're ready to start. Can we have another countdown? Let's go from 10.
Okay,
10,
9, 8,
8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
Woo,
go.
Let's go.
Okay. So this is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. The first thing to explain is that in the start of the game you can't sprint, so jumping is slightly faster than sprinting. Sorry, so jumping is slightly faster than walking, so we're just going to do this at the start of the run here. And then I'll explain the category. So the category is Shura, no Airswim. So first thing is Shura. So Shura is the fastest ending in the game. It's basically the evil ending. About 70% of the way through the run. That's really unfortunate. That only happens about 10% of the time and loses about 30 seconds, but don't worry about it. It's totally fine. So yeah, sometimes that happens. There's nothing really you can do. In a normal run you would reset, but it's like whatever. It probably won't happen again. So Shura, basically we go about 70% of the way through the game. We have to hit several objectives. We need to pick up the Shelter Stone, we need the Mortal Blade, we need to kill Ganitra, and we need the Lotus Flower. Then we just go to the next part of the story, and we get a big decision point. If you take the evil choice, you immediately get a final boss fight, and then it ends the game. So it's much faster than going for a Mortal Severance or any of the other endings, which are much further through. So we won't be seeing boss fights like the Divine Dragon in this boss fight in this run. Other than that, the other thing is no Airswim. So you can think of no Airswim as kind of like no major glitches, but rather than the only glitch we don't do is airswimming. So airswimming is a pretty cool trick, but it's really, really powerful. So basically, as soon as we can swim underwater, we would just be able to swim out of bounds and basically end the run. So in any percent end run of this game, you just go to get swimming underwater as quickly as possible, and then immediately finish the run. Basically, just getting all of the final things you need to get in one go. We're instead not going to do that, but we are going to do plenty of other tricks. There's a bigger variety of tricks in this run just because we don't airswim, so we have to get our stuff in other cool, interesting ways. It's a little bit more marathon safe as well, so that's good. There are a couple of jumps and tricks in the airswim route where if you fail them, it's like incredibly rip and you just can't come back. Having said that, there are actually several tricks in this game where you can't recover if you fail, but I've got backup saves for that, so that won't be a problem. So we're coming into the prologue here. So this game is it's a really satisfying, really fun game to speedrun, but it is exactly as hard as you would imagine, maybe even harder. The tricks in this game are really difficult, so it's hard to... I have no idea what time I'm going to get at the end. It all comes down to how things go. My practice run yesterday was 29 minutes, which is extremely good for a setless run. But it could equally go 15 minutes longer than that, we'll just have to see. So we're now in the main game out of the prologue. and we are running towards our first boss fight, which is Chain Ogre, which actually leads into the absolute hardest trick in the game, which is Ogre Skip. So Ogre Skip is an unintended jump to skip the boss fight. It takes about 30 seconds, and it is unbelievably difficult. So we get people all the time in the Discord that are new to the game. You know, they watch a run and go, okay, what's the first trick in the run? Okay, Ogre Skip, let me try that. And they try it for 3 hours straight and don't get it a single time. Just because there are two parts to this trick, and especially the first part is ridiculously precise. We need to do something that's called a drop jump, which basically means you run off an edge while jumping, which gets you extra height, and then do a fairly precise, like going around a wall and trying to grab the edge. It's very unlikely I'll get it in a marathon run, but I'm going to go for it for a couple of tries, so I'm just going to be quiet while I give this a couple of goes before I just fight Chain Ogre.
By the way, we've already reached £60 of donations just in the first few minutes, which is lovely. Thank you.
Oh my god, we got it! That's Ogre Skip. First time I've ever got that in a marathon. Really happy with that.
Really hype.
Yeah, there's a bit more running, so you can carry on your reading now, Jay.
Alright, sorry. We have £10 from Anonymous. We have £25 from Reba saying good luck everyone, love you all. We have £5 from Ryan with a J saying shout out to the goose and good luck to the humans. And we have £20 from NSC Hibbo, who says good luck guys, amazing setup, and for such of course. Thank you to all the donators.
Okay, so coming up is something I feel really bad about, which is the only trick in the run that I'm not going to go for. So I would do a trick if I was going for world record right now, called Canyon Skip. It's a really finicky jump, wall jumping off some collision that you're really not supposed to jump off. But it loses about 45 seconds if you fail, and it's really inconsistent, and it only saves about 6 seconds. So what we would do, so we would jump over this, but instead we can shimmy across, and by tapping we kind of shimmy a bit faster, so that's cool. The snake isn't very threatening if you know exactly where to run, so you can skip out going into the pavilion and stabbing the snake. The snake has like no RNG in its behavior, so we just know exactly when and where it's going to attack. Okay, it's coming up as another trick. This is a little bit easier than the first tricks. It's called Horse Skip or Gobu Skip. It's quite an interesting little trick. Basically, we're going to do two intended jumps. The second jump being a drop jump, so kind of like Chain Ogre, the Ogre Skip, but way easier. And then we will get him to walk out of the arena and die, because we'll despawn the invisible walls, when we get him to walk off the edge. Doing a bit. Okay, that's fine. I was distracted by French Gobu. I was like, oh my god, that's what French Gobu sounds like. So I missed the drop jump, which is the hardest part of this trick. It's absolutely fine. Just do a quit out, and we get to retry that again. So we do have to quit out because he can destroy the tower, so we actually take a specific path to AI manipulate him to not destroy the tower at the start of the fight, but he will if we're too slow. Okay, we got it second try, nice. So now we just go over here. And we got best RNG, so he falls off the edge immediately. That's really good, so got that second try, but we got the fastest RNG when we got him up there, so that was pretty decent. This run's going pretty decent so far, but we've got another trick coming up. The tricks just never end. This is Bull Skip. Thankfully, a little bit less high pressure than the tricks, but still really precise. This is one of the tricks that has been patched in the most recent version. Nice first try. Let's go. So you actually There's actually still a way to do that in current patch, but you have to do a harder version of it. So I'm playing on the down patch version of the game, and I almost fell off the edge. That would have been really bad. Okay. I'm going to try and quickly look at my time right now. 8 minutes? That's okay. So that's kind of the early game part of the run. If going for world record attempts, it's insanely reset heavy. Yeah, I just realized, I was like, that time's slower than I thought, and it's like, oh yeah, we lost 30 seconds to being shot at the start of the run. Yeah, it's quite rare, but it just happens. We've made the time up by hitting Ogre Skip and doing Bull Skip first time and stuff. So coming up is an interesting trick called Elevator Skip, which interacts with the quit out mechanics in this game. So unlike in Dark Souls games, in this game when you quit out, you don't just reload back in, you don't just end up where you were. You end up the last place where you weren't in combat, and we want to do a quit out without teleporting backwards. So we need to be stealthy here and not enter combat. So by stealth killing this guy, and now hopefully this guy's super blind, it doesn't spot us. Pretty much RNG. Nice. We can then pull this elevator. Do a little bit of menuing while we're here. And then do a quit out. What that does is when we reload back in, the elevator will be right at the bottom of the elevator. It doesn't save very much time in RTA, but on the leaderboard we go in-game time, so all the loading screens and times you quit out don't count towards your time. So it saves like 10 seconds in an actual run, so thought I'd show it off. So, little trick here where you can jump at the top of the elevator. Saves a little bit of time. We need to run towards this poster thing to stop the dialogue so we can rest at this idol. We're picking up 2 idols here that we need to come back to, so we actually need to get them. They're not like safety idols. So this is where kind of the route diverges quite a lot from like what a casual playthrough might do. So a casual playthrough will probably go fight Genichiro, but we're not going to do that. We're actually going to go to a very strange location, which is towards the Mortal Blade. Even though normally we can't get the Mortal Blade at this part of the run. You have to have fought Genichiro and gone through all the dialogue triggers with Ishin before you can go get the Mortal Blade here. But it turns out that the Monkey's boss fight, which is what you have to do to get the Mortal Blade, is just located straight below this Senpu Temple. So we just need to find a way to get out of bounds and then drop through the world, and then we can get there. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just running over to where we can go somewhere out of bounds. And then we can do Monkey Skip. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that grappling in this game is based on your camera. So I'll often be turning the camera quite aggressively while in the air to try and get it to grapple to the right nodes. Like putting nodes that I don't want off screen and putting nodes that I do want towards the middle of the screen. So right, here's Monkey Skip. It's quite finicky. You have to do a bit of a blind jump, dodge some death planes, but jumped slightly too early there. Such an easy mistake to make. Okay, that was a really good jump. Excellent. There was a death plane literally inches away from me on the left. So I'm looking very closely now to make sure that I'm falling in the right direction. Yep, that looks pretty good. And then I can just grapple to these nodes to not die from fall damage. Cool. So this is the part where I really I need to not mess up. So I need to stealth kill 4 monkeys in a row. And I'm actually going to take serious time because the time loss if you fail this is ridiculous. Okay. So that is pretty consistent. Like that's not very difficult. But if any of you play this casually, you'll know that as soon as the monkeys spot you, they run away and they jump, and it is, wow, it's bad. It is bad. I do have a little bit of a backup for that purple one, but even the backup strat is like much sketchier than what you actually have to do. But we got through it. And that's the main thing. So here we go. We now pick up the Mortal Blade, even though we've never heard what it is. Equip it, equip the puppeting Jitsu, we'll be using it in just a second. And we do a bit of menuing. So we're going to use the memories that we got from Gyobu. This powers us up. It's really worth doing, because especially the first like 4 or 5 power-ups in the game give you an insane power boost. We bought some tags as well, because we'll need to use some arts for the final boss fight with Mortal Blade art, and we'll also need them for the Puppin Ninjutsu that we're about to do here. So I mentioned that we're kind of going off the path that a casual route would do, but this is where it gets like really different to what a casual route would do. So what we're going here now is a completely optional area. It's actually used for the return ending, which is kind of like the hardest ending to get in the game. But it has a special property where it's connected to a much later area of the game. And so we can, but you're not supposed to be able to traverse between them. But we have a special way of doing exactly that. So we'll basically be really high in the valley area of the game, and we're gonna jump down and manage to get all the way down into the area below, skipping like the gun fort area. So there's loads of death planes and other preventative measures that devs put in to try and stop this from happening, but there's a way we can do it. So previously we'd use something called contact poison, which would make it so that we would die while falling, which would let us be able to get through the death planes. But I discovered quite a while ago now that there is a faster way. You have to basically just jump off and land on a very particular polygon or intersection of polygons, and you just stay down there. It just works. No idea why. So this trick is extremely precise. I'll be using keyboard to set up myself in a very precise spot, and then look in a very, very precise direction. Mash print screen to tank my frame rate a bit, although this PC is really good. And then hopefully we stay down there. Yes, okay, we got it first try, nice. Yeah, so that's a nice trick there. I don't really know if pressing print screen works, but I've done it like the last 5 times, and it's worked every time. So I'm never going to stop doing it.
I'm going to be honest. Hearing mash print screen is the oddest speed tech I've ever heard.
Dude, FPS manipulation is legit. It's a real trick. So it's another instance of the snake. Very nicely, if you just do a healing gourd right at the start and then just swim straight to the exit, he never hits you. It's properly Monker-esque, but it's fun. So we're going to be doing another quit out strat here using aggro. Very similar, kind of similar to the elevator skip we did before, but in reverse. So this time, rather than wanting to not be in combat, we do want to be in combat, because we want to go back. We need to grab an idol and then just U-turn and come back here. So we'd rather just teleport back here with the quit out, so that's what we're going to try and do. So we're going to try and aggro chain all these monkeys so that we're constantly aggroing. Okay, those monkeys took a really long time to notice me, so this probably won't work, but it's not a big deal if it doesn't. It's pretty much a 50-50 on what... Oh, that guy almost shot me. If he shoots you, that's actually a time save, because it skips the animation of grabbing the idol. But it's really rare. In a practice run yesterday, I had 2 of the monkeys shoot me at the exact same time, which kills you, and it's really bad. And I've only ever seen it once. So let's see if it worked. I don't think it did, but we'll see. Oh, it did work. Nice. So we get to do this death-defying deep leap over here. And we go down here. So we're going into another area that, again, you don't have to do. So we just picked up the idol for Guardianate, but we're not going to go do Guardianate right now. We're going to come back to him. This is like a shortcut area. That's like an optional area that the devs put in to be like, hey, like, you know, you're in a really late area in the game, so why not put in a shortcut that leads back to a previous area? But we've never been to this previous area, so we're going to use the shortcut to get back. So that's an unintended jump. If you just jump immediately, it saves a bit of time doing the intentional strat.
Do we have time for a donation?
Yeah.
We have £30 from Angry21 saying, events like this make me proud to have been part of the work unit community. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so there's quite an interesting boss fight. The first instance of cheesing or dead angling that we're going to get in the run. So basically, if you're not facing a boss, they won't block your attacks. So we're going to position the boss very carefully and attack in a very careful way to abuse that to kill this boss a little bit faster. I got a little bit sketchy at the end. She blocked one attack, but luckily it was okay. So that was really good. That strategy is actually really quite difficult. If any of your attacks don't connect, she can just hit you, and then you're dead because you die in one hit. And then everything goes all horrible, and it's all and then you don't have catching sugars to get the stealth, and but it's fine because we did it. So coming up is the scariest enemy in the entire game. My PB dies to this enemy and loses 10 seconds. So let's see what happens. Okay, it's feeling nice today. So that Black Rooster, he can do a jumping kick attack, kick you off the edge and kill you. It's a really bad time. What really sucks about it is the fact that there's no consistent way to get past him that doesn't lose time. So you just have to YOLO it every time. Jumping at him makes it a lot safer because you usually stun him before he can attack you, but not always. Another little trick here, this is temple skip. Just jumping off that branch there just saves a bit of platforming. And this is the hardest boss in the game, Miss Noble. We managed to get the aerial death below, so I think we've got him. Nice, there we go. No problem. Right, okay. Gonna do a little bit of menuing here in preparation for an upcoming boss fight. So, we're gonna do a bit of running now to the boss, but on the way there I'll explain the boss fight. So this is an extremely unique boss fight. Throughout the run I've been picking up fistfuls of ash and also these 3 snap seeds. They're used in all for this boss. So this boss, because it's a copy-paste of a later boss, which you can aerial death blow, you can actually aerial death blow this boss as well, but there's no normal way of being able to do it. There's a way to do it by using a art that's really late game, but that's way too time-consuming to go get. But we can use items as well. So we need to walk around the edge of the arena so that we don't aggro the boss, she doesn't see us. And then we get behind it, and we use all these items to make her stagger and push her backwards over and over. And if we push her back far enough towards a pillar, then we can jump off the pillar and get high enough above her to do the aerial death blow. It's very precise, and if we mess it up, we can't retry it, but I've got a backup save, so I'm just going to need serious time on this trick. Nice, we got it. There we go. Oh. Okay. So in a world record run, you would do a quit out here, which saves about 2 seconds in game time. It loses about 10 seconds RTA, so not worth doing in a marathon. So we've now got the ability to swim underwater, and we also pick up the Shelter Stone, which is one of the things we need. So we've got the Mortal Blade, and we've got the Shelter Stone, which is right there. Okay, this run's going pretty solid so far. We're just going to be running to fight Genichiro now. If you have anything you want to read, Tansky's looking like he might want to read something, but he might not, I don't know.
Yeah, so whilst I've got some dead air, I wanted to just mention that we do have some donation incentives up on Tiltify, which is our donation link. Obviously, !donate will give you the donation link, or it's below the stream, or in fact on stream most of the time. wasd.warwick.gg/donate. Some of the donation incentives, for example, are we've got small things like we have a Quake 2 run later, so you can donate towards getting people to play to the end credits room. You can get someone to survive as long as they can on Super Hexagon, although I think that's already been done. Or a particular one that will be happening later is getting someone to play the Sonic run on a DDR pad, or in fact, if you wanted to go a bit further, do it in a fursuit on the DDR pad. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out whilst we had some downtime.
Cool, yeah, so I've just been doing some grapples. Some of the most awkward grapples, you see that they kind of trolled me a bit. That wasn't really my fault, it's just the game being funny. There's a little bit of a skip there to skip out a mini boss called Dojo Skip, and now we're fighting Genichiro. So we do an AI manipulation here to get him in the door. Whoa, that is dangerous. That is an interesting texture bug we've got going on right now. Huh. Okay, so we're doing the cheesing strat that I mentioned before. So by not facing him, he doesn't block. Not as free as it looks, but still not too difficult. So the final fight, we are going to fight normally. Really good RNG makes this fight really easy. Really bad RNG makes this fight really hard. So we'll just see what we get. That's what we want to see. We want to see the lightning. That was an okay fight. We got one lightning, and he did okay patterns other than that. So I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it in a marathon. Okay, so we're coming up towards the final-ish, not the final part, but like I'd say the final third of the run. So we've got two major things left to do. We've got to, so now that we've fought Genichiro, we can go get the Lotus Flower, and then we've done everything we need to do to trigger the Shura ending. So we just need to do the final boss fight. But we're not actually going to fight Guardian Ape. We're going to do what's called Ape Skip, or no Airswim Ape Skip. It's a really finicky strategy that's a really, really long out of bounds, where I am inches away from death the whole time. What you can see is not what matches the collision. So I just have to memorize where there's collision, where I need to jump, and it's all a total nightmare. So I'm just going to do super serious time. Okay, that's not a good start. That's fine. So this first jump is actually really finicky. You need to get like a really good wall jump, and it's annoying because it takes a little bit of time to reset on it because you have to idle back out, but it's all fine. Okay. Okay, so I do a quit out here just because it makes this strategy much safer for a marathon. So I could hear that he was about to throw a projectile. That projectile can hit you even though you're out of bounds, and you just can't avoid it. It has ridiculously good tracking, so I just want to take my time here, but this jump is really scary. Taking it nice and easy. It's there. And there we go. That's Ape Skip. Nice. First try. Really happy with that. If you fall off the edge, you just have to fall for about 30 seconds before you actually die. And then you just have to do the whole trick again. It's like 1.5 minute time loss per failure on that trick. So took it nice and easy, but that's absolutely fine. So now that we've got that, the castle is under attack. And we can go ahead to the final boss. So the final boss is going to be Emma and then 2 phases of Ishin. It's a really hard boss fight, really hard casually, and really hard in a speedrun. It's not as hard as some of the hardest tricks in the game to do consistently, but there's quite a lot of RNG in how they behave. Like certain patterns are much, much more difficult to deal with than others, and you can get really rare events things. Basically, in my head, I'm keeping a massive flowchart of what the boss could do all the time, and basically having to play perfectly off that flowchart that I've memorized in my head. So full serious time for this. It's a huge, huge time loss if I die, but I'm feeling good about it. So. So like I say, we die in one hit, we can't guard an attack, otherwise we get stunned and die. We just have to play completely perfectly.
Come on.
Okay, that's Emma down. That's just the warm-up. Use some attacks here to time using my buff just to optimize this a little bit. The buffs help a lot.
Shura, je n'aurais jamais cru le voir tuer quelqu'un de ton espèce.
Okay, this is the hardest phase.
Je n'ai pas fini, Sekiro.
Nice, there we go. Okay, time's coming up in about 15 seconds. So yeah, no hit. So I got pretty bad RNG with his behavior. I was trying to bait a back attack. I never got it, so it wasn't, you know, I lost maybe like 10-15 seconds just to not getting the best RNG, but in a marathon, yeah, sure, I did hitless. I did damageless, so that's all good. So once the logo appears on screen, that's time. There we go, time. All right, what time did I get? 30:33. I'm really happy with that, considering we got shot at the start of the runs. That probably would have been sub 30 if I hadn't got shot at the start. So super duper happy with that run. Just want to give some shout outs. So shout outs to the Sekiro community. They're really awesome. They're still pushing the game down. There are loads of different categories, all of which are really active and all different runners, and it's really interesting to see all the different strats that get employed. So, you know, if you're interested in running this game, jump on the Discord, check out some runs, and try and emulate it. It's really fun and satisfying to learn. Shouts to WASD for letting me be the first run of this marathon. It's going to be a really hype marathon, so stick around. There's some pretty epic runs, like the Portal 2 run coming up is going to be pretty special. Oh, and lastly, a special shout out to Zedo for fixing my controller. Otherwise, I probably won't be able to run this game anymore. So